Hello, I'm Pandora Sykes, and welcome to Rivals, the official podcast.
I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Rivals Season 2 is now streaming on Disney+ internationally and Hulu in the US.
I do know a great script when I read one.
And this podcast is where to find out all the sexy, scandalous and surprising details when it comes to your favourite Rutshire residents.
So should we stop flirting?
Please note, this will be spoiler-filled. So if you're not up to date with the latest antics, get yourself caught up with episodes 5 and 6 and come back here for a full deep dive afterwards.
I really am not used to this sort of thing.
This is an 18+ show. There may be explicit language and we will be discussing sensitive themes.
For the professional.
So strap yourselves in because we have a lot to talk about. Coming up on today's episode.
Please, one more chance.
You've had one more chance, I'm all out of chances.
And joining me to dissect episodes 5 and 6 are Lord and Lady Baddingham, David Tennant and Claire Rushbrook.
It was an extraordinarily emotional time.
The truth is, it was a shock. It was a shock for me.
Writer and executive producer Dominic Treadwell-Collins.
It's going to send shockwaves through the audience and had to be done.
And executive producer Alex Lamb.
I felt, gosh, we're being really audacious.
And our Rivals superfans, presenter and podcaster Vogue Williams and journalist and author Kat Brown.
Are you going to do the theme tune?
I'm now joined by none other than David Tennant and the one and only Claire Rushbrook. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a very great pleasure to be here.
Pleasure.
Yes. Hello, my rose.
How are you doing?
Maud was exceptional.
Well, I told you she would be. An entirely authentic performer. It's as if she's lived it all before.
Thank you for telling me to hire her. I'd be lost without you, darling.
I am so excited to talk to you both. You have such a dramatic relationship, the two of you in this. David, let's start with how good did it feel to slick back the hair, put on the braces, step into the highly polished brogues of Lord Baddingham for season 2?
It felt deliciously familiar, I have to say. He's great fun to embody because it's quite liberating, I suppose, to get to indulge all those corners of your psychology that you don't allow yourself necessarily to inhabit in real life. He's arguably psychopathic in the way that nothing has consequence for him morally, it appears. So that there's something quite liberating in being that person at work. There's something quite enjoyable about having a consequence-free go at what life might be like in those circumstances. It's a great character, yeah. It's hugely enjoyable to play. And I get great suits made for me.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You're right, he is completely without morality, isn't he? Whereas Monica, of course, is this stoic, moral, she's the matriarch of Rutshire. And they are really the yin and the yang. Do you think Monica has become even more upstanding as Tony has become even more rapacious?
Well, I think she's sort of a prisoner, really, of her own morality. It's not, the position she's in isn't necessarily like a good thing, but she's steadfastly there because of, attitudes to marriage when she was growing up, because of wanting to, do the right thing, because feelings are indulgent and not important. And you make your bed and you lie in it and you are jolly grateful for what you've got. So,
and there's 3 children who have to be
absolutely.
who have to be delivered through the system.
Yeah,
don't they?
And there is, to all intents and purposes, a very loyal, affectionate, doting husband and father when he's at home, and she doesn't see that other side of him, except in series 2. She does. He brings it closer to home. It's harder to ignore. She's an intelligent woman. She knows full well the sort of behaviours he gets up to, but in a lot of ways it's suited her. It's taken the focus off her, in the bedroom, and as long as he's decent at home, then what he does at work, whatever, in his silly line of work, is of no importance to her. But it's a beautiful arc to be asked to play. And then, of course, things come to terrible crisis.
There were mutually beneficial elements to that. Tony wanted the status that Monica brought.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Tony was bringing money to keep the house going. So there was,
Yes,
you know,
children and charm. And,
Yeah.
you know, when he shines the light on you, it's magnificent.
and I think they make a good pair. You know, if they operate within the boundaries with which that relationship has to operate, and that's where it starts to come off the rails when Tony pushes it too far.
Do you think he thinks that Monica, and of course we see to heartbreaking effect that she won't, but do you think he thinks she'll always be there, that there's nothing that he could do that would result in her leaving him?
I think he probably does think that. I certainly think in the moment when he is committing some terrible acts, he's not necessarily thinking about how it will immediately impact on Monica. But I think he has come to rely on her reliability and her steadfastness and her... she's anchored the family, and she anchors him, and he will always go back to that, and he will always go back to the house, and there's a safety there, and there's a protection there, and I think she's also an advisor to him. I think you know, a confidant, and but I think he doesn't have a problem compartmentalising those different parts of his life.
There's a moment early on, you know, where I think episode 1 even, where she sees at the polo, you know, it's unmistakable, the sort of energy between him and Cameron, and we see her be as explicit as we ever have really in that moment and say, don't push it. And had he not, then there's an argument that they would have quite happily carried on as they were, because I love those quiet, affectionate moments between them. But yeah, the noise gets louder, the walls close in, things just become impossible to ignore, and she doesn't act as he would have assumed she would, yeah.
I've heard from other cast members just how emotional the read-through was for episode 6. You were the only two who knew before. What was it like reading that?
I was very biddable and I kept very, very quiet, and I didn't tell anyone, even though I probably, in hindsight, might have benefited from being able to sort of share it with some castmates. But I was enormously grateful that they had said that David was aware. And I remember I was at Dublin Airport or somewhere, we had a phone call, and it was instantly sort of anchoring, because, you know, the truth is it was a shock. You know, it was a shock for me. And although there were assurances from our brilliant, you know, Dominic and Alex, our execs, there were assurances of fantastic scenes and fantastic scripts. You know, you've got to go through a process of just, you know, I was reeling. Then I saw the scripts and was absolutely, you know, devastated and thrilled, because they're just exquisite. And was able then to sort of reach out to you and say, you know, eek. Will it be all right? You know, and David was and remains actually incredibly, you know, reassuring about, because it's a journey, you know,
I hadn't really understood what that was going to mean in the room, and as it was coming, and as people are hearing the story unfold, and it starts to edge towards the inevitability of what's coming, and you could see people around the table starting to twig and starting to make involuntary noises and realise what was coming, and yet still not really believing that was coming. And I remember Luca's face he was right opposite me across the table. I just the sort of horror and the trauma and it was an extraordinarily emotional time, actually. What's exciting is the idea that will happen to the audience now. That the shock, the horror, the surprise of all this.
And it really will, because even if you've read the books, like I've read all the books and I love them, but of course this is a big departure, a Gilly approved departure. So even for those Cooper fans, the ardent fans, they are going to get that moment that you were all getting.
And it's sort of, you can sort of see what's happening, and then when Caitlin comes out of the car and you kind of think, oh no, surely this isn't, that's not the story we're telling here. And then Rupert comes to the door, but it's not really until Rupert says the words that it's. And I remember that moment at the read-through when Alex literally said, she's dead. I mean, there was an uproar in the room. The amount of tears that day, it was a lot.
It must have been quite physically tiring, because there's great energy in those scenes.
It was an intense episode to film.
Yeah.
I mean, it's energising actually having that kind of stuff to play.
That's it.
But yeah, it was, and tonally slightly different to anything that's gone before in the series, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there was such a sort of, build up to those scenes. There was a lot of line learning, and then so when it comes to actually filming it, David's right. It was energising because you're absolutely sort of laser focused. So it was sweet agony to sort of get going with that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the drama's dialed to 100 because you have this storm raging outside.
Monica? Hello? Hello, Lizzie. I'm just collecting for the jumble. Oh.
What was it like? How was the storm created? What was it like acting in it? Did you know what was coming?
It was the most enormous, 3 or 4 of the most enormous wind machines I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And just roaring over the top of them to try and get your lines
really
out.
like jet engines, you know, and then just people chucking sackloads of leaves and twigs and getting slapped, by
things. I know it was things flying through the air.
Dark, and it was wild. This beautiful location, this country house, these great ancient cedars swaying. It was the moon was bright. It was wild. It's just extraordinary because you think wind machine. I think sort of Beyonce or some sort of low level. 80s pop video.
That'll make me look good.
Yeah, but this was like proper hurricane time. Yeah.
I remember that storm.
Well, because it happened in real life, didn't it?
I mean, I guess I was a teenager. I remember it happening, and it was sort of apocalyptic. It was sort of on the TV the next day. I think it was Nicholas Witchell in a broom cupboard because he's the only one of the BBC that could get into work that day, sort of holding the news. It was a bit like we were on a kind of wartime footing suddenly.
Landscape completely changed. Trees had gone.
And it had that sense of a world-changing moment, actually, to live through it. It felt like, something really weird, something kind of fundamental just happened. The ground just shook. So to find this plot point and put it onto that moment, it was a perfect bit of very, very clever move from
very clever.
Claire has been phenomenal as Monica, and it takes a phenomenal actor to achieve that.
Thank you.
Where do you think Tony will go from here with no Monica to rein him in when he has gone too far?
I think the blow on the head sort of took away some of Tony's limiters. If he ever had any, it feels like the guardrails are off from that point.
It does.
And then losing Monica, which was really his final anchor, the only thing that held him back to any sense of propriety.
And in place.
And gave him a home and gave him a sort of something to return to, a solidity and a continuity. Without that, he's in trouble, without a doubt. And he's, in some ways, it makes him all-powerful because there is nothing to hold him back now.
No restraints.
There's no one that he feels he has to live up to.
Not even his daughters?
Sends them off to boarding school very promptly. I mean, that's the terrible reality of that kind of world, isn't it? I don't really have to be answerable to my children because I don't see them most of the year.
And your real life daughter also has a part to play in that, doesn't she?
Yeah. Olive plays my youngest daughter.
We thought you were dead. Don't be daft, Camilla. Daddy's invincible.
It's something very moving, very wonderful about that, actually. And I remember Dominic saying, just before he finalised the casting of her, he said, will you be all right if there's some quite emotional stuff to play? It sort of helps, actually, because it makes you sort of, it makes you imagine the realities of what parenting in that situation would be. And it's been a particular joy for me to have that, to have her there,
Claire, watching you has been such a treat for all of us. What are some of your favourite things that you will take away from working on the show?
I think just the gift of, being amongst excellence, the freedom and the confidence that comes with that amazing cast who were sort of being bold and playful in their choices and who were just hilarious. The excellent crew. And the scripts and meeting Jilly just being able to be in her light was really a gift that I'll always be grateful for. And just the material, I just loved playing Monica. I loved getting on those scruffy wellies and the thick skirts and the barber jacket and pearls and just being comfortable in these amazing locations as if it's just her living room. And yeah, it was a real departure for me and a real challenge. I was nervous, but I really, very grateful.
Do you have any favourite moments of talking to Jilly? Because all of the cast seem to have different moments that either touched them or made them roar with laughter. Cry with laughter is one I've had. Did you have any?
I sort of feel like she spoke so quietly and it would be an intimate experience talking to her because you'd have to lean in close to hear her, and she would be quiet, in manner, but then just say something magnificent that would make you feel magnificent about yourself. It just felt a real privilege to be on the receiving end of such kindness and generosity and gorgeousness. Yeah.
What about you, David?
All of that, really. She was just a sort of twinkly light. She was just it was such a joy to get to know her, and she was so generous. She was always very encouraging, and she was very open about sharing how delighted she was with what had happened. That her books, which had been such a huge success, but had at times been dismissed rather snobbishly, I think. And I think here she was being vindicated and having this, I suppose, this wonderful final act, really. To get to share in that was tremendous, and to get to know her a little, and to be charmed by her and then shocked by her. I mean, she would sometimes lean into your ear and say some filthy things, which of course was very on brand. So yeah, I think just her generosity and her spirit is it still runs through the work for sure. Can I just say, we are all properly devastated to be losing Claire.
Oh,
we really are.
I have been deeply moved by how open the cast have been in their sort of affection.
You've been such
sadness.
a central part of the gang.
Yeah.
The idea that
we've laughed a lot.
Oh my God.
But we had a gorgeous time, and I'm grateful for it.
You're not coming off the WhatsApp group, that's all.
No, okay.
David, Claire, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Now joining me, a writer and executive producer, Dominic Treadwell-Collins, and executive producer, Alex Lamb. Dominic, welcome back to season 2 of the podcast. Alex, great to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
A tree fell and hit the car. Caitlin got out, but... Sorry, Dad. Monica's dead.
It's so bold, dramatic, shocking, a big decision to make. Whose idea was it?
Laura Wade, Felicity, Alex and I all sat together talking about storylining season 2. Very, very early on. We were still filming season 1.
We were still filming series 1.
And there were many ingredients in the pot. One was Tony needs to pay. There needs to be some repercussions for Tony's actions. We need a new weight to series 2, because otherwise those boys are just going to keep coming at each other. There need to be some big repercussions. That sounds rude, doesn't it?
Sounds perfect.
That sounds like Rivals Nights, the gay spin-off.
I think also 1987 gave us some gifts, isn't it?
1987.
Because, of course, Gilly was writing her novel before the Great Storm in October 1987.
Yeah.
We were looking into all the real live things that were happening in 1987 to layer onto our storylining. And we all remembered Michael Fish saying there definitely will not be a hurricane. And then there was a hurricane. And then that felt really important to play.
So we were going to play that. We talked about different people who could be casualties.
I sort of want to know who else you talked about that you didn't go for, but I'm not sure you'll want to reveal that.
We talked about lots of different people, but we kept coming back to Monica. Monica was the first instinct because Monica's one of my favourite characters in the show. Played by Claire Rushbrook, one of the best actresses in the world.
But it needs to be high stakes if we're going to do it.
It's
If
got
we're
to be
going
high
to do it,
stakes.
it's got to be someone
You're
that you
gonna
really
kill.
care
You've got
about.
to care. You want the audience
Yeah.
to weep, and you've got the Tennant. And David's playing.
You call him the
I worship him, and he's playing Tony. He's managed to take Tony from the book and made you adore him even when he's at his most Machiavellian. And so to take Tony into such a dark place and make him responsible for his wife's death, it shows you that you're going to get the best performances from him, the best performances from Claire. It gives Claire a bigger story. It also makes sure that for the second half of the show, Tony's lost his morality. Monica is his moral compass, and now that compass is broken. So knows what's going to happen next, and that's scary in a wonderful way. We talked about it being Claire, and then we stopped. And then I remember standing up from the table and going, no, we're not doing it. And then we kept coming back.
Well, Monica's role in the book is quite diminished in the latter half. She does not have loads of story to do. And we knew we had this brilliant actress that we wanted to serve, didn't we? We wanted to serve Claire a brilliant, brilliant story.
We had Gilly's blessing, and we sat with Gilly for a long time and said, this is what we want to do. And it adds a heft to the second half of the show. And if Monica hadn't been facing death, she wouldn't talk so openly about her feelings. She wasn't that type of woman. And just show everyone Claire Rushbrook. I'm still so sad about it. That's why it's going to send shockwaves through the audience and had to be done.
Alex, how did you feel when you watched it for the first time?
When we watched the first cut all together, it was pretty astonishing. I think it's shot so beautifully, and Claire's performance and David's performance, I really love that scene inside the living room when Hurricane Monica arrives home and she tells her husband how it is.
This time I'm not keeping quiet. If anyone asks, I will tell them that you were systematically adulterous throughout our marriage.
And David Tennant, as Tony, gives just as good back. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful performance. And I was my breath was taken away. I felt, gosh, we're being really audacious. This is properly kind of the story of this marriage totally gone wrong. And
what's that line? You have loved me awfully.
Awfully, yeah.
Yes, such great writing.
Laura
Doesn't he
Wade.
say, like, I've loved you an awful amount or something?
Yeah, awfully much.
No, Tony.
You love me awfully.
And the read-through for it, only the actors who were in the episode had the script. Catherine started crying, and Claire started crying because Catherine had worked out what was going to happen. And everyone in the room started sobbing. And then when the last moment, when everyone realised it was Claire, everyone was crying. Claire was crying. Everyone hugged each other. We all went straight to the pub.
Yes.
It was one of those moments that you will never see the like again. It was spine-tingling. We took Claire for lunch.
We did.
To talk to her about it.
It's probably not the first time you two have had to do that, but probably quite difficult to take one of your cast out for lunch to say you're killing them.
Yeah.
Yes, it is always difficult to do things
And
like
then
that.
we
Sort of want to
but
be
we did have the gift of a
a
wonderful
fly
story.
on the wall for that.
It was a wonderful
The
story.
wonderful story.
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
But
of
also, we
course.
said to Claire, sit on it and we'll talk in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Because I,
And what did she say?
unprofessionally went, and of course, if you're really upset, then maybe we could change it. Because I was still so like, oh my God.
I was definitely sold by then. I was so sold in this. We had to tell this story.
Claire messaged the next day and said, this has to happen.
Yeah.
This has to happen.
Because it's a brilliant story arc.
And
yeah.
she was saying it. Jilly said it. You've got to be careful with Rivals too that we didn't just become silly and fly away. We can be silly, we can be sexy, we can be so many different things. We really wanted to reflect life,
Yes.
which is ha-ha and boo-hoo. And it's life and death.
We talk about making the audience laugh and cry all the time. You know, to be able to make them have these big belly laughs, you've got to give them the troughs as well. You've got to, and a good cry is just as good as a good laugh. When I watch how I feel when I watch a telly, you know, and that kind of big emotion. That's what we wanted to serve.
Let's wind back from that epic moment. What's it like working together, having these long-standing relationships? And it's not your only one on Rivals. You, of course, worked with Danny Dyer on EastEnders as well. Tell me a little bit about the moment you fell in love.
We know each other so well, which can be annoying for some people in the office, because sometimes I'll look at him and go, oh.
And I'll be like, yes.
And then we'll look at each other and go, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, you've just had a conversation without talking. But when I give you a script that I've written, you and Pia, who work with me, are the first people I give it to. And I want to make you laugh. And I want to make you gasp. And then you will come back to me and go, push it more.
Yeah.
Push it more. Push it more. And that's why we work so well together.
Did you go your separate ways after EastEnders and then come back to
Yes.
each other? Or
Yeah. I'd set up Happy Prince, and I'd got the rights to Rivals, and we met.
because you'd had them for a while, hadn't you?
I'd had them for a bit, and always been after them, always been wooing Gilly, and just fell in love with Gilly, and she was the one who said to me, you should adapt it. So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to adapt this book. This is here. I met you in the pub. And I gave you the book. You hadn't read Gilly.
I'd never read Gilly Cooper. I was familiar with her Irv, with the Bonkbuster Irv.
Your mum.
Yes, but
How had you lived?
Exactly.
I hadn't
80%.
lived. So I took the book home and I consumed it, and I was like, "This is brilliant. This is Dickens set in the 80s with loads of sex."
Yeah.
The writers' room was really good because we already had all the story, we had all the plot. The gift of the book was that. So it was all about talking about tone and all about talking about the politics and can you do this now? What does this story mean now? I always say that Gilly is a really good seller of true emotion.
Yes.
So the emotional truths of her characters still stand up today. You know,
100%.
that's why I think people can revisit the books and read them now. That's why the TV series works, because the characters and the emotional truths are there.
And if in doubt, if we ever get lost in drafting a script, we always say, let's go back to the book. And anytime we drift too far from the book is when we go wrong.
Yeah.
And we sort of come back again and go, oh, Gilly's written that scene.
So you do feel like that is our source material and we don't want to ever lose... You want to remain tethered.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's a great resource. You know, working with Sam on episode 5, the scene in the bar in Ireland is virtually Gilly's verbatim version of that scene. And we were like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
She was a genius. When she died, we sobbed, like from our guts. It was absolutely devastating.
It was devastating.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. And then we were filming, you know, so the cast and crew, it was such a big shock for them. But we kind of, we were in London, weren't we? And we went down to Bristol and had a champagne toast on set with everybody.
And Liza, our producer, she said, I'm getting champagne and it's got to be glasses. Gilly wouldn't want plastic. And then I made a speech to the crew and then I stopped being able to talk, didn't I? And you had to finish it. We read out the Queen's comment about her being in heaven with impossibly handsome...
What was the Queen's comment?
She's in heaven with impossibly handsome men and loyal dogs.
And loyal dogs.
You know, we talked to her so much about this series. She signed off episode 12. We talked to her about the Rutshire Chronicles going forward. We got her brain on everything we wanted to do. She was genuinely one of a kind.
Totally.
Genuinely one of a kind.
Episode 5 sees Declan, Cameron and the Ventura team head to Ireland. The surroundings are so beautiful. What was it like to take Rivals out of Rutshire and bring it to Ireland?
So we had a Cameron Declan argument discussion, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. I said, we were going to film, and Alex said, well, it'd be cheaper to film in Rutshire, film in the UK. And I said, no, it's Ireland. Ireland for Ireland.
Can you imagine what Declan would have said?
Yeah, Cameron and Declan. Exactly. And then you came back to me and went, okay, it's fine.
Did I really say like that?
No, not quite like that. But it was a really important... My family were all Irish, and it was important to me to film there. And we ended up filming in some of the worst... I've been to Ireland all my life, and I've never seen worse weather than that. As we were halfway up a mountain in a storm. It comes across as bad weather on the film. In between, we were all huddled underneath waterproof blankets. Nafisa, soaking wet, then just going, come on, guys, we're going again. She was amazing. Aidan going, I'm going to get into this icy lake in a storm. It was insane. And so everyone's sitting there going, ha ha, we're filming in Ireland. Why the hell are we doing this? It was real. But it's such a big part of the book. It's such a big part of the book for me.
What goes into creating some of the more elaborate sets? Like, we get to see the Golden Gauntlet.
We welcome you to the Golden Gauntlet!
What goes into creating that? 'Cause it's all well and good putting these things into a script, but obviously executing it is a completely different beast.
We have a wonderful, wonderful team of people, and everyone loves the challenge.
Yeah.
The scripts are big, they are whoppers, you know, especially in this part of the series. Episode 4 with the Midsummer Night's Dream, the Golden Gauntlet, the Storm in 6. But everyone kind of raced at it with gusto, didn't they? But also it's fun. Dominic Hyman, who designed the show, he loved making Midsummer Night's Dream. He loved that set, you know, working with Ashley, the DP, of what's reflective, what colour works, what gauze you can see through. And then the Golden Gauntlet, we watched loads of the It's a Knockout, the Royal Knockout, back from the 80s. This is the year of that too. And it's so silly. I think it's maybe one of my favourite set pieces because it's just so silly and so daft.
But of the period.
Of the period. But all the departments just loved that challenge, even though they are big challenges.
They are big challenges.
We're very grateful for them all.
Where do you go to find all of those kind of shows for inspiration? Is it just digging into trying to access sort of old archives from various television networks to see who uses slime and who uses...
I've got lists. You are obsessed with slime. We took Gunge.
Gunge.
Yeah.
That was a massive thing when I was growing up.
Gunge was massive.
It's fallen out of favour.
Gunge was massive in the 80s. We have lists of programmes that we watched at the time, and we watched these shows, and Gunge was big in the 80s.
I wonder if it was cheap to produce or something.
Probably was. It probably was something awful as well, imagine, in the early days.
Toxic.
Exactly, probably really bad.
So we talk about the telly that was on in the period and the music that was on in the period as well. When I write, I have now 87. Yeah, now 87 was playing. And different songs will inspire you and different things. So, series 1, I talked about the Birdie songs. I remember going to a very, very posh party and everyone doing the Birdie song in the corner.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So then coming into season 2, we're like, what's
our Birdie song?
Our Birdie song. And we both went, the chicken song from Spitting Image. And you've got that scene in episode 3, where Rupert wins the election despite everything, and you've got drunk Conservatives dancing to the chicken song, and we use Cameron coming into that going, what the hell is going on? And we like playing with that. We like playing with songs you think were naff before that we can sort of reinvent and make cool again.
Dominic, Alex, thank you so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Now, my final guests today are Vogue Williams and Kat Brown. Vogue, Kat, welcome. Kat, welcome back to the podcast.
I've literally just been here forever and will now stay here forever and only talk about Rivals for the rest of my life.
I'd never guess you were a fan.
I think we all need to take a breath and make a cup of tea after that ending to episode 6. Kat, what did you make of that piano scene between Maud and Tony?
I heard you playing. Play for me.
It's very sexy, isn't it? I wasn't sure that they were going to let David Tennant, do sexy.
Did you see Tony and Maud coming?
I didn't see...
Not like that.
I did, actually. No, I didn't see the two of them coming, and I am so disappointed in Maud, because, you can forgive her for everything else, because that's the kind of thing they have going on, but that's just a little stab in the heart, and I don't know if Declan's going to forgive her for that either. It's just too low.
Declan and Cameron have a moment, a frisson. Do you think they would be a better match than Cameron and Rupert and Declan and Maud?
I have no doubt that Cameron and Declan would be hot AF in the sack, frankly, whether in Ireland, in England, anywhere. If it couldn't possibly last. She's a director and he's somebody who would probably not take any direction at all and should just get absolutely fed up with him. She needs somebody to adore him but who can also stand alone. But if they did, have it away in Ireland, I'm sure it would have been great.
Yeah.
What I think is really gorgeous about Rivals is that the women are shown to be as horny as the men, and they're shown in all of Jilly Cooper's books to be enjoying sex as much as the men, and it feels quite feminist sometimes, the sex, to see that, especially at the time she was writing. What did you think of that scene where Caitlin is about to lose her virginity to Archie, and she's shown just being so excited and giddy and just really chuffed afterwards, Kat?
It really made me laugh, actually, seeing Archie not only waving a condom in the air, but then blowing into it. And it was like sex ed for a new generation of too young to actually be watching this, kids. It was really, really wonderful. And I loved that, Caitlin really enjoyed it and was sort of losing herself for a bit. But I did feel really sorry for Caitlin that she had to go and hide in the dark room afterwards.
Hide in the dark room and find pictures of her naked mother. That's quite the come down.
What a way to lose your virginity. Nobody wants your parents brought into it, my God.
Oh, the parents were very much involved though, weren't they? And they all just knew straight away. Can you imagine?
What do you think Monica's death means for Tony? Where does he go from here, Kat? Bad? Good.
From Baddingham to worse, exactly. I'm in totally uncharted water here because this is a veer away from the book. Which is done brilliantly and which I'm really, really excited by.
But it means we don't know.
No, exactly.
Us fans don't know.
I kind of love that we don't know. Like, he could go either way. He could turn into a really nice guy because he'll be so badly affected. Maybe. I doubt it because he's such a good baddie. But I don't know. I don't know if he'd get married again.
You're really looking on the bright side here, Vogue.
I know, because I just want everyone to be good and just get married.
Welcome to Jilly Cooper world. Totally not going to happen.
I know.
So the build-up to the crash with Monica and Caitlin, we've got the hurricane, which is extremely high stakes. 4 wind machines, apparently. Watching it, were you feeling the drama, Kat?
I was. I'm also glad that you explained the number of wind machines because I was like, how? How can you get the weather to behave like this on cue? The magic of television. Seriously. I was absolutely horrified that Monica went outside once, let alone twice, 3 times, a lady. And I just, again, can't believe that she drove Caitlin home. There were so many bad decisions in this episode, and that was even before we got to anything that Tony had done. But honestly, it just, as soon as you saw the wind whipping back and forth, it was just like, this is just not going to go well for anybody.
Vogue, what are your hopes for Lizzie? Do you think that conversation with Monica will encourage her to go for what she wants?
I think bringing in their daughters and saying, would you want this for your daughter growing up? It makes you see it in a different light. So you're not seeing it in your own light. Like, you can accept something for yourself, but when you think about your own daughter having that, it's like, oh no, hang on a second. Like, I don't want her to think that this is okay. And I think that kind of struck a chord with her. And I'm hoping, I don't know if she'll end up getting with Fred, but I do think that they're a lovely couple. I really like them together.
But it does lodge something in Lizzie's mind, doesn't it? It does remind her, especially now she's sold her book and hopefully got lots of money, it does remind her that she has agency. She doesn't have to stay with James Vereker.
Yeah, oh God, I can't stand him, but that makes him such a good actor. Because I can't bear when he comes on screen.
His jumpers kill me. The one with the episode of The Storm, and he's wearing like the cloud jumper with
in
the
a
sun.
reference to poor old Michael Fish from the 80s, and saying the same, the weather presenter Michael Fish, who was like, no, not going to be a hurricane.
I
literally
never lived that down.
No, poor chap.
No, I loved that part of it, and that's why I was so sad when Monica did die, and I'm sort of internally hoping that she is not going to be dead because I wanted her to have that moment for herself, but then maybe it is just Lizzie who's going to have that moment. I just hope that Lizzie is like, she just becomes really successful and then she just really makes something of herself, and you want her to be happy and you want her to, like, because she's such a lovely character. She's one of my favourite ones, and I love their dynamic as well. I think Fred would be like, I'd marry Fred. Yeah. He's so nice.
Totally.
And he has a swimming pool.
Kat, who have been your MVPs of season 2 so far?
Claudius the puppy. Amazing work for a young man who just enters in a basket, is cuddled for a bit, and then is never seen again. Delightful.
Like Moses.
Yeah, exactly. Just turns up, parts the
Quite
hurricane.
biblical.
Yeah, exactly. Really enjoyed Archie. I think he's done very well at initiating Caitlin into the joys of sex.
Yeah.
And also initiating everybody at home into exactly how to open a condom correctly.
What about you, Vogue?
Okay, weirdly enough, I'm going to say Tony, only because he was so dreadful. And he's so awful and he's so brilliant to watch that he actually, like, when you're watching him on screen, like, I feel a rage. I'm like, how can I be so, it's just TV, but I'm literally like, and I just find myself getting into such a huff with him. I absolutely loved him. I love Lizzie in this because I just think she's such a kind-hearted person, and she's someone that you just want to pull out and be like, come on, do it for yourself. And like the fact that she got the book deal, I always love Fred. I just think he's brilliant. I just think he's great crack.
What are you hoping from the second half of season 2? What are you hoping to see?
I'm hoping for some real serious, high quality, immense Everest level revenge for the ripping up of the Golden Gauntlet tapes, because I genuinely found that really upsetting. That was such a great thing for Rupert to come up with.
Evil.
It was a real bridging moment for him in the venture a lot. And then Tony and insert name of deceptive person here just ruined it. So I'd love to see something for that.
Vogue, what are you hoping to see in the second half of season 2?
If I don't see a marriage, I will cry. And this is a bit far-fetched, but I am hoping that the death was not real.
Oh, darling.
I haven't seen a body. I haven't
Are
seen
you
a
hoping
body.
they'll do a reversey-percy like they did with
Tony?
I think that you can.
I mean, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I didn't see a body.
How bad can having a tree land on you and your car be, really?
She didn't necessarily completely land on her totally.
We didn't see it.
Didn't see it. She
Rupert
could
just be pulling Tony's leg.
Oh my God, yes.
Making up for the tapes.
Exactly. We've just written it.
Yeah,
There you go.
Exactly.
Done.
Oh, and I really want Taggy to have a lovely birthday party and be spoiled, because they still haven't got her a present. Rupert's the only one who's got her a present. Like Baz, I mean, I said I love Baz in this, and I do. But sorry, he bought her some pasta and pesto. What is he? Like a student?
I mean, to be fair, I
He
wouldn't
owns a
love if
restaurant.
I know, but if someone brought me a dog, I'd be like, this is a lot now. This
I
is
know.
gonna cost me
But again,
a
this was the
fortune.
80s.
Yeah.
It was a different land with the giving of puppies and baskets.
Vogue, Kat, thank you so much for joining me to talk about season 2. I feel like we could talk about what actually happened and the conspiracy theories that might happen all day.
We could.
My tinfoil hat is at the ready.
And remember, you can catch up on all things Rivals on Disney+ internationally and Hulu in the US. We'll be back in November
If there's one thing the British love, it's famous people being silly on television.
when Rivals returns.